mean, when I saw what Attentive does, and, we were using some other tools if we could, but once I saw it, I mean, it was a no-brainer for me. I mean, I was blown away and loved it from the start.
So it makes it wonderful and very easy and allows us to get back to our customers in a very timely manner within like the next business day, which is great. So it streamlined things for them on their end, and that we know that everything is accurate and current and up to date based on what the property looks like currently. So that's awesome.
My name is Rich Jambor. We are here at Perrysburg Asphalt Sealcoating. We're a family-owned company. We've been in business for 23 years now. So we do everything from residential, commercial seal coating to small commercial paving, residential paving, patchwork, crack filling, pretty much everything that has to do with asphalt. So we purchased a portion of a business back in 2000, and I've kind of grown it ever since. I worked for an asphalt company for the previous owner when I was going to college. So just summer job, and he was looking to sell a portion of the company. And back then we purchased it, and I ran it while I was in college, and have grown it ever since. I pretty much grew up here. We moved around a little bit. I actually lived in Texas as a child, but for the most part, I was raised here and have a lot of family and friends here. And I've stuck around the Toledo area. It's a very close-knit town, and we're a pretty close-knit company as well. We've had a lot of people that have worked for us for quite some time. So our employees some of them actually are family. Like my sister is out there and runs the office, and you saw my dad that was walking out earlier, and a couple of the others are just extremely close. And we have a very, very close-knit company, and we embrace it. Years especially when we first started, the asphalt industry as a whole was kind of slow to embrace technology a little bit. I get it. There's people that are a little nervous about change and things like that, but we utilize it whenever possible. We have a proprietary built database system for our CMS system. I built it myself. I went to school and it's an MIS major, so when I graduated, I coded the database and built everything from scratch here that was kind of tailor-made to what we need. So we use it for everything from estimating to scheduling to invoicing to customer outreach and everything. So that drastically helped our efficiency in the office, and we try and extend that to out with crews and use it wherever we can. So I was introduced to it at the National Pavement Expo last winter. And so I took one of the classes or the courses that one of the Attentive employees, I can't recall his name, was teaching. And it wasn't super focused on the software. It was more focused on AI in general. And then he started talking about the software, and he and I had a conversation right afterwards. I was blown away by the product and just the little piece that I saw. So I stuck around and kind of chatted with him after the class and everything, and then made my way over the booth later and did the demo, and it was exactly what I thought we were looking for. We had used things like Google Maps and just trying to do some of that beforehand, but it's not as efficient, and it's nowhere near as accurate. And this was just an amazing product. So I signed up right away. Beforehand I knew that we were not wasting time, but taking time and money to send people out to measure things, or try and measure them in-house if you can. And we come up with average results, but not 100% accurate results. So this allows us to save time, allow our employees to focus more on the customer service side of things and doing what they need to do best, as opposed to going out and measuring miles and miles of cracks or miles and miles of asphalt.
I think it's been great so far. It's been a great experience. I think it is wonderful that it creates efficiencies in our business.
Even on the residential side of things, I don't think that you guys probably even envisioned residential use. So, it's probably largely geared more towards parking lots, but the fact that it's acreage based and the pricing is, based on square footage and things like that, it actually made it for us really affordable and feasible to do that for residential, which is largely, it's even though it might only be 50% of our business, you spend a lot more time dealing with those customers just because there's so many of them. We might seal 3,500 driveways in the summer. So, it's just not feasible to send someone out to 3,500 to go look at them and every single one. So it's been great for that. And it allows us to get back to our customers faster. It improves every aspect of customer service.
I come from a background in economics, so we care about effectiveness and efficiencies, and it does both. I think it's great that that we basically get a discount on, not that we get a discount on the software, but it allows us to save payroll. It allows us to help better serve and help our customers and get current and accurate descriptions of the property. So overall, I think it's been an awesome experience. I recommend it to everybody in the industries because it can definitely help multiple industries, which is awesome for you guys and awesome for the rest of everybody, especially when we can utilize technology in an awesome way that's very easy to help our business, especially being a small business. I think that'll help a lot of different people besides us. So I definitely have enjoyed it. It makes it easy. I love being able to flip back and forth between winter and summer so that we can look at the trees. We can look at the different things that might affect our business.
Yeah.
Which is really helpful, especially during fall where leaves are dropping or different things are changing. So it definitely helps us to negate issues that we might also have. So that was a good thing. The closest thing that we've used is Google for Google Maps and measuring properties using their cut and snip tool. So that's the closest thing. I think this one is obviously more accurate since it's not us drawing and pinpointing everything that it needs to.
Just to be able to send them those PDF reports and confirm from above that this is exactly what they're talking about and the scope of work that they're looking to do, because sometimes they don't even know what they're looking for and, they're not sure. And so this allows us to take that and I can, we'll pull images off of there and I'll integrate it directly into our database and be able to, actually embed those in the proposals that we'll give directly to the customers. So that's helpful too. I definitely do. We do a lot still manually that I think could easily be done by AI and computers. I mean, humans do a great job, but some things computers are just better at. They can make those calculations and they have so much information that, they can map things out. So eventually, I would love to see it be able to, map out some routes for us maybe. If we've got 50 jobs that we're doing in a day, be able to upload that and give us the most precise route to get all those done. Or, maybe even some job costing as far as square footages and the measurements go and integrate that into it. So, and that's something we integrate a little bit into our database ourselves. Once we take the data and process it, we put a lot of that, in our system. And I'm a big proponent that, we give our employees as much information as possible. And, any information we have, we put into our system, and everyone in the company should be able to open up the job, see exactly what we should be doing, see exactly all the measurements, know exactly how much material they want to be used, how long it's going to take them. And so all that can be incredibly pushed by technology. Yeah, quite frankly, we haven't really had any problems, to be honest with you. Early on, I wouldn't even call them problems. I would just say, a little bit of a learning curve on our part. And they were very helpful and they followed up and made sure that we got, what we were looking for. And so that was the little experience that we've needed with customer support, it's been excellent. It just makes your life easier. There's so many things that if you're going out and doing the day-to-day measuring and things like that take time, because it takes time and costs money to either yourself do it or send someone else out to do it. And if you can push those things towards technology, then you can focus on the bigger aspects of your business. It's just the difference of working for your business as opposed to working on your business. So it allows you to build things that you probably couldn't have done before just because you were spending so much time doing everything else.